Hi, I'm Damiano Oldoni. I'm a research software developer at the Research Institute for Nature and Forest in Brussels, Belgium, and I'm working within GuardIAS project to develop an early alert tool for invasive species at the European level. Typically, researchers or field managers, or even policymakers, it's not easy to be informed about the presence of a specific invasive species in a specific area. Based on this tool, we try to fill the gap and to have the possibility to get an alert via mail, for example, or via web, so that they can be alerted by the presence of something in their management area if you are a field manager, or if you are a scientist maybe in your country or even in all Europe, depending on the area of interest. Of course, this system has to be based on data, and so we chose to base this system on GBIF, the Global Biodiversity Information Facility, because there's a kind of technical readiness quite high. And of course, this tool is open, so it's an open source tool, very important for us, and is based on open data, as by default they are indeed on GBIF. So this is also challenging, because when you are speaking about invasive species, you need to mobilize this data as soon as possible. Otherwise, you cannot be aware about the presence of this species in a country. So it's important to have a mobilization chain, which is actually maybe not defined in GuardIAS itself, but it's something where all partners are aware about. And what we do is trying to help also with other partners to mobilize this data if they need our support. For example, most of them have no need because they are using a naturalist, and in this way they go to GBIF as soon as these data are research grade labeled. But in our case, these data are not on a naturalist because they are coming from other kind of monitoring activities, and that is the case where we have to help them to mobilize this. Also important, this tool is not only a GuardIAS product, it's a very good collaboration with OneStop, which is another Horizon project based focusing on terrestrial invasive species. And most of all, this is a tool which will be labeled as EASIN alert. So the name of this tool we know already quite well. It will be EASIN alert because EASIN is an associated partner of both of the projects, and we want to have this tool integrated in EASIN. Of course, it's a big challenge because EASIN is from a joint research center, so it's a kind of not only technical challenge, but it's also a governmental challenge, and also on the long term maintenance issues and so on. So we discussed a lot about that, and we have not all answers, of course, at this moment, but we are working on that, and I think we are quite at a good stage. As always I say, as long the data are machine readable, which is maybe an early word, but it means that in some way they are not unstandardized, so then we can benefit of this. So first they have to be findable, so it's a kind of, if you know, the FAIR principle, findable, accessible, reusable, interoperable and reusable. If the data are not fair, we cannot do so much about that, because if they are in a silos, that means that they are closed in somewhere. Another problem, for example, is I have nothing against Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, but when you publish data in a kind of in a Microsoft Excel format, for example, it's not fair. They are open, yes, because they are findable, yes. Accessible, not, because maybe within 5 years Microsoft Excel version that you use is not anymore usable, and also not everybody has a license to use Microsoft. So we always say use CSV files, because they are for long period, every system will be allowed to read CSV files. So for us, it's kind of principles that we have tried to also bring within the project. If I know that a lot of partners know these things, but for us it's really the basics. Otherwise, we cannot build anything. And also, we try indeed to use GBIF, but data, occurrence data of GBIF, but all other information about with checklist information about environment impact and so on. As long as this information is findable somewhere else, it's just a matter of matching this species with the backbone, taxonomic backbone of GBIF, and 95% of the time is typically not a problem. So we can coupling all this kind of information, and EASIN has an API, and we are using it. So we can get all of this information from EASIN to help making some filtering, so that we want some species with a low impact or high impact, or from this environment or another environment, or even species of country concern. For example, if a country provided a list of species of concern to EASIN, these species are findable via the API of EASIN, and we can import this information in a web system as the early alert tool. So as long things are somewhere and they can be harvested by a machine, that's good. What I'm learning now in GuardIAS to upscale this early alert tool is that we are getting indeed an upscale, but it's a huge upscale. It's not just upscaling few 5 times, let's say, the number of species. I think we are getting from 130 species to many thousand, tens of thousands of species, because we go from Belgium to Europe. You know, Belgium is not so big. So we are getting huge, and also our stakeholders, the tool that we developed in the previous project, which is the base for this early alert tool, the EASIN alert tool, it's quite limited. There are field managers for a specific area. We started with just 3 river basins in Belgium, very small. And now we are getting to all Europe. That's a huge difference. And of course, this is challenging. And it's not, but you know, what is challenge is also nice to do, because it's triggering our knowledge as a challenge. And when you have a challenge, we are motivated to get it, to succeed it.